Chapter 81. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After Shisui found Fuka Koyuki, he found Zabuza. Seeing Zabuza now, he was more energetic and vigorous. Shisui was very satisfied. It seems that Zabuza has made great progress during this period. There is a mission, are you interested? Shisui pushed a document on the table in front of Zabuza. Zabuza flipped it open and read it carefully, then looked up at Shisui and said unhappily, "You think too highly of me, that is a ninja village, although it is a small one. What's more, the worst thing is that you even want me to recruit them. You don't think I can really do it? Is it so easy to help Fenghua Xiaoxue take the throne and secretly control the Snow Country? The nobles of the Snow Country will not agree to it." Seeing Zabuza's angry look, Shisui waved his hand and said, "Don't be so excited, I have sent people to you." "How many people?" Zabuza asked, and Shisui slowly raised a finger. "One person." "Are you kidding me?" Zabuza slammed his hand on the table and looked at Shisui in disbelief. "Listen, is this something a human can do?" In the original work, Naruto was able to defeat Mtlnovel with a bit of luck, which can be said to be the protagonist's halo, but in reality, it is not so easy to conquer a ninja village. Although Mtlnovel can barely be regarded as an elite jonin, he is even stronger than an ordinary elite jonin with the blessing of Chakra armor. Otherwise he would not be hammered according to Kakashi in the original work. "Don't be so anxious, take a look at who this person is first." Shisui smiled and waved his hand, and then a figure walked out from the darkness. The person who came was wearing a hat and a cloak, and the whole person was wrapped in it, but Zabuza still knew who the person in front of him was. He couldn't help but show an excited expression. "Master Naruto. Why are you here?" Zabuza's excitement was beyond words. "What? You don't welcome me?" The visitor took off his hat, revealing a handsome face with yellow hair and blue eyes, looking a little childish. Naruto looked at the excited Zabuza and said, "Don't worry, this time I'm here mainly to help you solve the problem of the Snow Country. After all, it is one of our next branches. Besides, the chakra armor researched by Mtlnovel is still useful, it's just that it hasn't been perfected yet. Once we take over and solve the hidden dangers, it will be enough to turn Genin into Chunin, and Chunin into Jonin. In this way, we will not lack the basic combat power, and the backbone can be expanded very well." After listening to what Naruto said, Zabuza nodded and said, "Since Lord Naruto has come in person, I am naturally not afraid." As the earliest existence to follow Naruto, Zabuza naturally knew Naruto's strength, especially his current strength, which was helped by Naruto. Ninjutsu below S level is readily available, and physical skills have been retrained. Even the chakra refining method has been re-optimized by Naruto. Now the chakra is twice as much as before. Therefore, Zabuza's strength has now reached the Quasi-Kage level. You still have to be vigilant, I am actually just a shadow clone now. Ah. Zabuza suddenly felt a sense of sorrow after being overjoyed. Naruto patted Zabuza on the shoulder and said, "Don't be so pessimistic. My shadow clone has been optimized. It will not dissipate easily even if attacked, unless my core is blown up in one breath. But there should be few people in the ninja world who can do it now. Let's go. Carry out the mission." Naruto began to call Zabuza forward. "Oh, by the way, let's also call Haku this time. Her ice shield bloodline limit may not be as easy to use in the Snow Country as a duck in water." As if remembering something, Naruto turned to Zabuza and said, "Yes." A group of 3 people, didn't bring many people, because Naruto felt that it was enough. At this moment, they were talking to Sandefu, a middle-aged man who looked honest, but Naruto, who had reached a very high level of acting skills, naturally saw Sandefu's true nature. This is a shrewd man. At the same time, he has his own ambitions in his heart. "Mr. Ninja. As long as you can help Xiaoxue to become rich, we will definitely pay you generous rewards," Sandefu said as he looked at Zabuza in front of him. Having hired ninjas before, he also had a certain understanding of ninjas. Especially the young man in front of him, the demon Zabuza. This was the one who could escape unscathed after assassinating the Mizukichi. His strength was naturally very strong, but he was still a little worried. He originally wanted to accumulate strength in 2 years and secretly summon the loyal subordinates of the former daimyo, that is, Xiao Xue's father, but he didn't expect that a ninja had investigated Xiao Xue's identity and was willing to help them regain control of the country. No matter what the other party's plan is, this opportunity is hard-won. If they also want to regain power, they must rely on the power of ninjas, because Fenghua Mtlnovel controls a ninja village and is also a ninja at the upper ninja level. I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back. How can they be a match for Fenghua Mtlnovel? They will die. Fenghua Xiaoxue was terrified at this moment, and it was obvious that she was particularly afraid of Fenghua Mtlnovel. After saying that, she slipped away. The third husband looked embarrassed and said, "I'm sorry, my lady is too willful. You guys talk. I'll go bring her back." Naruto's cold voice came out from his cloak, and he disappeared right away. Naruto's performance was eye-opening for Sandayo and the others. Naruto's age was obviously not very old, but his performance at this moment was eye-opening. And with the presence of Zabuza, it was even more convincing. Naruto didn't bring Fenghua Xiaoxue back immediately, but watched her run away slowly, through the crowd, and gradually came to a deserted place. As if she was tired from running, Fenghua Xiaoxue squatted on the ground and sobbed slightly, with big tears flowing down her cheeks. Naruto slowly walked to her side and just stared at her closely. "Have you finished crying? If you have, please come back with me." Naruto's indifferent voice sounded beside Fenghua Xiaoxue's ears. Fenghua Xiaoxue raised her head and saw Naruto's handsome and tender face. "You guy. Don't you know how to be gentle with women?" Fenghua Xiaoxue glared at Naruto. Her puffed cheeks looked particularly cute. Fenghua Xiaoxue didn't know that Naruto was just a shadow clone at the moment, and Naruto didn't know why. His shadow clones always had a more prominent personality. For example, the last one was more jumpy, so this shadow clone was more cold, or straight. Women will only affect the speed at which I become stronger. I'm afraid I will only smile in front of familiar people. This may be because the shadow clone does not have a complete soul. It's just a thought. You have no idea how powerful Fenghua Mtlnovel is. You will die, leave quickly, I don't need your help. Fenghua Xiaoxue stood up and glared at Naruto. Naruto disappeared from the spot and appeared behind Fenghua Xiaoxue, kicking her on the butt. Fenghua Xiaoxue fell to the ground. It didn't hurt, but it made her extremely ashamed. She looked up at Naruto again. Naruto thought she would be very angry, but unexpectedly, Fenghua Xiaoxue's eyes were filled with tears at this moment. Fenghua Xiaoxue thought Naruto would apologize to her, but unexpectedly, Naruto glared at her. "Don't cry. Stand up." Fenghua Xiaoxue wanted to get angry, but for some reason she glanced at Naruto's handsome and cold face and warned, "Oh." Then she dusted herself off, rubbing her sleeves with her hands, and stood beside Naruto with a sheepish look on her face. This made Naruto feel very confused. Does this woman have a masochistic tendency? She was already prepared for a storm, but this is what happened. Chapter 82. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Not long after, Zabuza and Santefu saw Fenghua Xiaoxue following Naruto back, but Fenghua Xiaoxue followed Naruto with a shy look on her face, like a little woman, which made them a little stunned. What happened to them? But they didn't think much about it. Maybe Fenghua Xiaoxue realized her mistake. After all, she was carrying the hope of a country. Without too much explanation, they began to embark on the road to the snow country. As the name suggests, the snow country is a country shrouded in wind and snow. It is backed by the land of earth, and the neighboring country is the land of demons. The geographical location is relatively good, but the climate is a bit bad. On the way, they also learned some things about Fenghua Mtlnovel from Santefu. Fenghua Mtlnovel is the younger brother of Fenghua Xiaoxue's father Fenghua Zhaoxue. He has always had ambitions in his heart. Therefore, he killed his brother to seize the throne 10 years ago in order to obtain the treasure of the snow country. He has always wanted to develop the snow country into an existence comparable to the 5 major countries. He has been looking for Fenghua Xiaoxue all these years. It's 4, the key to unlock the treasure is in Fenghua Xiaoshue's hands, the hexagonal ice crystal. You said they want to go with us too. Zabuza looked at the ordinary people carrying cameras. Sandaifu looked embarrassed and said, if they stay with us, the risk of exposure can be reduced. Let's just think of it as going to the snow country to shoot a movie. Mr. Ninja, being able to shoot a phenomenal movie is my lifelong pursuit, this is my dream. Please, the director is a middle-aged man with stubble. This time he plans to use the colorful wonders of the rainbow ice wall of the snow country for filming. And he also knows the identity of Fenghua Xiaoshue, so after this opportunity, Fenghua Xiaoshue may not be an actor, and without such a talented actor as Fenghua Xiaoshue, it is almost impossible for him to shoot a phenomenal movie. So he wants to give it a try. Naruto looked at the scene in front of him with interest. The plot seemed to be advanced. The people were still the same people, but it was no longer Team 7 that was carrying out the mission. It was Zabuza, Haku, and him. This director is still so dedicated. Zabuza glanced at Naruto inadvertently, only to see Naruto nodded. Zabuza looked at everyone again and said coldly, let me make it clear first, you all must obey the arrangements, otherwise you will bear the consequences, that they are not ninjas who carry out missions for commissions. This operation is only to plan the snow country. Zabuza will not indulge these people. Everyone set off quickly, because there were still ordinary people, it took them 2 days to reach the territory of the snow country. At this moment, the wind and snow have begun to fill the air. Naruto walked on the road and looked at the surrounding environment. The freezing cold had made everyone wrap themselves in a thick coat. Zabuza and his men were fine. This little bit of cold was nothing to them, but they also put on cloaks and added some warm clothes. After going deep into the territory of the snow country, the director had already gone to scout the scene with Fenghua Xiaoshue and others. Naruto also saw the colorful rainbow ice wall. The wonder is really beautiful, it should be caused by the ice wall refracting the light, which makes people feel the wonders of nature. Suddenly, Naruto raised his mouth. He thought that the original story would not happen, but it still happened, boom. The snow mountain suddenly shook. It caused panic among the people. Is the avalanche coming? Zabuza looked up and saw 3 people rushing towards them in the snow. They had obvious mechanical creations on their bodies. The fat man in the middle rushed down on a sled with a mechanical arm-like device on his arm, the 2 people beside him were roughly the same, wearing steel creations, and the female ninja also had a mechanical creation similar to wings on her body. Ice escape, swallow blowing snow. Ice escape, white whale. Ice release, ice prison, that the 3 of them launched an attack as soon as they arrived. Zabuza was a little surprised by the appearance of ice release. He didn't expect that besides Bai, there was someone else who could use ice release ninjutsu. Zabuza took out his beheading sword and easily blocked several ice cones. This is just a pseudo-ice escape created by the special environment of the snow country. You guys deal with them, I'll go protect Fenghua Xiaoshue and the others. Naruto began to run towards Fenghua Xiaoshue. At this moment, everyone was already panicking, especially Fenghua Xiaoshue, who had a look of collapse on her face. Obviously, this place and Fenghua Nuteo had cast a great shadow on her. And the director's men were also scrambling to escape. This is the movie I want. Stop, shoot for me, I will give you 10 times the salary. I will give you dividends after the movie is finished. The director's roar came, and the scene of the ninja war made him very excited. He knew that his life's achievement was here. When his men heard the director's remuneration, they also stopped hesitantly. With a gritted teeth, the world aimed the camera. As the saying goes, money makes the devil work. Now Naruto has seen it, and he doesn't even want his life for money. In fact, several ordinary people are also very smart. Seeing that Naruto is protecting them, they gambled and became rich. Losing the bet is better than being poor and destitute. I am not afraid of death, but I am afraid of poverty. The big brother who carried the camera immediately showed an expression of seeing death as home, and roared, "Let's die." No one can stop me from making money. The huge ninjutsu caused a huge movement. Bai's ice escape shocked several snow ninjas as soon as it was used. Bai didn't expect that he could use ice escape so smoothly in this environment, and the consumption of chakra was reduced by half. The power increased by about 80%. Ice shield, 1,000 killings water flying, that the woman flew in the air with the help of steel wings, while the fat man rushed up and smashed Bai's ice escape attack with one punch. After several explorations, Zabuza also found out the strength of several people. They were at the level of Chunin, but in front of that strange device, they actually reached the strength of a special Jonin. Is this the chakra armor that Naruto mentioned? Zabuza no longer held back, and Bai completely let go of the offensive. After Naruto's brainwashing, Bai no longer showed mercy like in the original work, but she still wouldn't put people to death. She also knew that necessary battles were inevitable. She is still soft-tempered. This character is indeed not suitable for killing. Next time, Bai can go to Tsunade to learn some medical ninjutsu. It might be a good idea to become a doctor who saves the dying and the wounded. Mist-hidden technique, a thick fog began to spread around, and Zabuza's devil-like voice suddenly rang in the ears of the snow ninja. Heart, liver, spleen, lungs, kidneys. Where do you think I should start first? The powerful murderous aura came, and several snow ninjas had already lost their momentum and began to tremble. Ice release, black dragon blizzard, a voice came, and the powerful blizzard ninjutsu blew away Zabuza's mist-hidden jutsu. Langya avalanche, you let me down, a figure appeared and looked at Langya avalanche coldly. Sorry. The strength of this ninja in front of me is really strong, Langya avalanche has nothing to say now, after all, he did fail. Facing Zabuza's Quasi-Kuga level strength, he has no way to deal with it. He found that he had completely underestimated this guy, and the information transmitted by the ninja world was also wrong. Chapter 83. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Now is not the time to talk about this, let's go back first. Feng Hua Nu Tao snorted coldly, and directly released a super powerful blizzard to block everyone's sight. Under the blessing of the wind and snow, the powerful ninjutsu formed tiny ice blades. Feng Hua Nu Tao and others used the instant body technique to escape. Earth escape, earth flow wall, a huge earth wall appeared, instantly blocking the blizzard, including the densely packed tiny ice blades. Fenghua Nuteo's powerful ninjutsu directly made Fenghua Xiaoxue, who was originally afraid of him, cry. He is so powerful, and he has so many subordinates. We can't beat him. Woo! We will all die. Woo! Fenghua Xiaoxue collapsed to the ground, tears streaming down her face. Naruto frowned. Does Fenghua Xiaoxue have a deep fear of Fenghua Nuteo? He slowly said, you must believe in hope. If everyone is like you, who will save the people of your country? Look at the director. He dared to face the battle between ninjas for his dream, just to be able to film best movie, even though he knows, he might die. Sometimes persistence is very important. With the courage to persevere and the fighting spirit and hope, the breath of spring will bloom even in the cold winter. Santa and the people of Snow Country need you, you must cheer up. If you give up on yourself now, you will have no way forward. Only by believing in hope can you see the real dawn. Naruto's sonorous voice resounded in Fenghua Xiaoxue's mind. At the same time, Naruto used the technique of illusion suggestion to help Fenghua Xiaoxue eliminate her fear of Fenghua Nuteo. I suggest you read more books, then you will know what courage is. This is it. Naruto took out a book from his storage ring and threw it in front of Fenghua Xiaoxue. That's all I have to say. If you still look like that, I will have no choice but to give up on you. Naruto answered seriously, he was not joking. If Fenghua Xiaoxue was really like this, then Naruto would never let Fenghua Xiaoxue become the ruler in public. Fenghua Xiaoxue was stunned by what Naruto said, he looked at the director, then at the Sentai, and remembered their fearlessness of life and death. They all had things that spurred themselves on, so what about himself? Fenghua Xiaoxue stood there in a daze. After thinking for a long time, she stood up and shouted at Naruto, "I don't want to be a daimyo, but I want to be the best actor, because only when I am an actor can I forget my past identity and be a happy girl. I will definitely take back my country, help its people, and pursue my dream." Fenghua Xiaoxue's voice came from behind. Naruto paused, and a smile appeared on the corner of his mouth when no one could see it. Fenghua Xiaoxue picked up the book that Naruto gave her, on which were written the 4 characters, Red Thought. After Mtlnovel returned, he put on his chakra armor directly, but his research members hurriedly said, "My lord, this chakra armor is not very stable yet, I'm afraid it needs to be debugged." Mtlnovel's face was full of confidence, and he said, "No problem, as long as I quickly resolve the battle, it's still okay to use it this time. As long as I get the treasure left by my brother, I can research more powerful chakra armor, and then I will become an existence that can rival the 5 great powers." Mtlnovel did not hide his ambitions, and once wanted to become an existence that could rival the 5 great powers. He has absolute confidence in his chakra armor. If Naruto were here, he would definitely slap him in the face. Just because of you, you want to become an existence that can rival the 5 great powers. Not to mention that your country is small in area and lacks resources, the most important thing is that the population and resources are insufficient. If you still want to compete with the 5 great powers, a chakra armor alone is not enough. After Mtlnovel put on the chakra armor, he began to summon his subordinates. The snow ninja village is relatively small, and there are only more than 200 ninjas in total. At this moment, all of them were summoned together. Obviously, Zabuza brought him great pressure. Naruto barely made any moves except to protect Fuka Koyuki and Santefu, so he was not taken seriously by Mtlnovel. As for Haku, he was just an ordinary jonin, how could he fight against his own ninja army? As long as Zabuza was dealt with, the others were not worth mentioning. The next morning, Sandefu gathered his subordinates who were once loyal to Fenghua Xiaoxue overnight. Compared to the original book where more than 50 people were gathered, only about half of them came now. It might be because the preparations were too hasty. Santaifu, we've already said that you don't need to gather people. Naruto looked at everyone speechlessly. There were only a few ninjas, not even a chunin. Now he had to protect them, but fortunately, compared to the original story where a lot of people died, it was not a problem for Naruto to protect them with his current strength. After all, the gap in strength was too big. It was time to end it. Several people rushed to the Grand Canyon ahead, and Mtlnovel had been waiting here for a long time. Compared to the original story where there were only a few big cats and small cats, there were quite a lot at this moment. Hey! Don't break them, they are all resources. Naruto was talking about these ninjas, each of them was a precious resource, even in moving bricks, one ninja could be worth dozens of ordinary people. So these people should get out and go to infrastructure. Bye, I know you don't like to fight, so I'll ask you to take care of them. Leave this to me and Zabuza. Naruto smiled at Bai, and that handsome face made Bai feel his heart beat fast, and his face turned a little red. Well, okay, Bai replied shyly, and Naruto just thought she was embarrassed because she didn't want to fight. Zabuza. Go ahead. As the two attacked, the snow ninjas also rushed up densely. Ninjutsu came overwhelmingly. Naruto looked at it and laughed secretly. From here, we can see the gap between the big countries. The ninjutsu released by these people are chaotic, and there is no sense of order in the big ninja village. Otherwise, the power may increase a lot. Naruto shuttled through the crowd, using only physical skills to blast away the surrounding ninjas. The powerful physical skills explained what is called violent aesthetics. These people couldn't even touch the corner of his clothes, and Zabuza rushed through the crowd with a beheading sword. He knocked people unconscious directly, he didn't kill him. Mtlnovel attacked Zabuza directly and ordered all the people to surround and kill Naruto. Naruto became more and more excited as the fight went on. Usually, there weren't so many sandstorms for him to practice with. Although he was a shadow clone, it would be difficult to break Naruto's defense unless he stood there and punched Fenghuan Nuteo dozens of times. If the real body was here, just opening the iron block to hit Fenghuan Nuteo wouldn't be able to break the defense. In one go, the snow ninja was thrown out by Naruto like dumplings. It wasn't fatal, but it should still be painful. The entire battlefield was completely in a weird state. Naruto was like a humanoid beast. Chapter 84. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Damn it. Why are they so powerful? Fenghua Nuteo was extremely shocked at this moment. The strength of these two people has exceeded his understanding of normal ninjas. Could it be that these two people have reached the strength of the shadows of the 5 great countries? Fenghua Nuteo has never seen the true strength of the shadows, and his understanding of the strength of the shadows remains in his own guess. In his opinion, the strength of the shadow is only at this level. I won't fail. Fenghua Nuteo roared, and began to forcibly burn his own vitality in exchange for powerful strength. Ice release, double dragon blizzard. At this moment, Fenghua Nuteo didn't care about the consumption of chakra at all, and attacked Zabuza like crazy. 2 giant dragons formed by snow attacked Zabuza from the left and the right. With the blessing of the special weather in the snow country, this attack was even more terrifying. Facing such an attack, Zabuza snorted coldly, full of disdain. If it was half a year ago, Zabuza might still be afraid, but now, he is completely fearless. He originally only had water attribute chakra. After more than half a year of practice, he now has mastered the earth attribute chakra. Earth style, Earth Dragon Bomb. A huge earth dragon also rose from the ground and fought with Fenghua Nuteo's 2 snow dragons. Although it was 1 against 2, Zabuza's earth dragon was not at a disadvantage at all. On the other side, Naruto was about to knock down the more than 200 snow ninjas. Among these snow ninjas, none of them were at the level of Jonin. It can only be said that it is almost impossible for Fenghua Nuteo to rely on these ninjas to become an existence comparable to the 5 major countries. Water style, Water Dragon Bullet Technique. Earth style, Earth Dragon Bullet Technique. Combined ninjutsu, Mudslide Bullet Technique. After Zabuza received support from Naruto's ninjutsu, the Water Dragon Bullet was no longer more than 40 seals as before, but had been simplified to 12 seals. Although it was still far from the 4 seals of the second Hokage, it was already a regular ninjutsu seal. Thinking about the original 40 seals, Zabuza wanted to die. Ice release, Black Dragon Storm Kill. Fenghua Nuteo hurriedly formed a seal to resist, but in front of Zabuza who was already at the Quasi-Kage level, his resistance seemed a little weak. No. I will not fail. Zabuza's powerful ninjutsu directly broke through his ninjutsu. The earth dragon formed by the mudslide bomb hit Fenghua Nuteo's chest. The chakra armor resisted with difficulty. The armor slowly showed a few cracks, and then the cracks appeared faster and faster, and finally turned into a pile of scrap metal. Fenghua Nuteo spit out a mouthful of blood, and then was smashed away heavily. He had held back, otherwise Fenghua Nuteo might be torn into pieces. On Naruto's side, he had easily solved all the snow ninjas. Most of them fainted, and only a few were still wailing, but even if someone still had the ability to fight, they dared not stand up. Their lord Fenghua Nuteo was defeated, and they would be idiots if they resisted again. After all, Fenghua Nuteo was usually unpopular, and Fenghua Xiaoxue was the daughter of the former daimyo. Son, they wouldn't think there's anything wrong with her being a daimyo. After all, life is precious. And Santefu and the others had already held the belief of fighting to the death, but they didn't expect that Fenghua Nuteo would be solved so easily. It's really dramatic. And Fenghua Xiaoxue also knew for the first time that ninjas could be so powerful. Especially the boy in front of him, who didn't seem to be a few years younger than himself. How could he be so powerful? Fenghua Xiaoxue took out the red thought given by Naruto, and was a little dazed. She took some time to read it at night, and the content inside had a great impact on him. Is this the dream he has always been pursuing? She couldn't imagine that Naruto's pursuit would be so grand. If things continue to develop in this way, this boy will eventually embark on a path of hostility with the 5 major countries. Is he really not afraid? Xiao Xue, I've saved Mtnovel's life, and I'll leave it to you to deal with from now on. Naruto said slowly. Xiao Xue's heart warmed up, and a light of hatred appeared in her eyes. She looked coldly at Mtnovel, whose chakra and limbs were sealed below. It was he who killed her parents, took the snow country for himself, and even wandered in the ninja world. Mtnovel, don't you want hexagonal ice crystals? I will show you today, and then let you die in despair. Xiao Xue raised her cold eyebrows, her face was cold, and when she was angry, there was even a hint of majesty and nobility between her eyebrows. The people brought by the third lady acted as guards, pressing Mtnovel to follow Xiao Xue to an ice wall with a keyhole on it. Xiao Xue inserted the key worn on her neck into the ice wall. Click, click, click. The sound rang out, and everyone widened their eyes, and Mtnovel had already revealed an excited look. Has the pursuit of many years finally appeared in front of him? Even if he died, he had to take a look. But the huge machine exposed behind the ice wall made him a little bit unable to do it. The ice and snow melted, and all things revived. The machine started, and a stream of heat rushed over. It was not hot, on the contrary, there was a breath full of vitality. Is this what I have been pursuing? Where is the treasure? Where is the gold and silver? Looking at the gradually dumbfounded and desperate Xiao Xue, he said, My father has always hoped that the citizens of the snow country can also have a good living environment, so he used the funds to build this huge machine. Xiao Xue turned around, looked at the scene of everything reviving around him and continued, I used to not know what my father was doing, but I knew that my father had no treasure. And this machine is the biggest treasure of the snow country. But you killed him before he announced the news. You, the executioner, don't have the treasure you need here. Die with disappointment. Xiao Xue glared with her beautiful eyes, drew out the swords of the surrounding guards, and stabbed them directly into Mtnovel's chest. Mtnovel, who had been sealed for a long time, did not resist at all, but looked at Xiao Xue with unwilling eyes. Naruto and Zabuza were a little surprised. They didn't expect that she had such courage. It's a pity that Bai didn't have such courage. Zabuza sighed in his heart. Xiao Xue suddenly relaxed her hand holding the sword, collapsed to the ground with her face covered, and tears as big as beans flowed down her cheeks. Naruto walked up and patted her shoulder gently, but Xiao Xue suddenly hugged Naruto. Slightly stunned, Naruto slowly put his arm around Xiao Xue's waist, burying her in his arms. That I am the main hall of the snow country. Fukakoyuki will inherit the position of daimyo from now on. A country cannot be without a ruler for a day. The whole country celebrates. The news that Fukakoyuki will become the new daimyo spreads throughout the snow country within a few days. The whole country celebrates. In the back hall, Naruto has already confronted Fukakoyuki. To his surprise, Fukakoyuki does not make any exceptions. I had guessed it a long time ago. After I read that book, I understood that you have great ambitions, but if you are not careful, you will be doomed. Since you are so powerful, how could you covet a mere commission? Your goal must be the snow country. At this moment, Xiao Xue was dressed in a noble outfit, which also had a bit of the majesty of a famous name. So what do you want to choose? Naruto said calmly, his eyes did not change at all. The snow country is imperative, there is no room for negotiation, even if it means using force. Me? I choose to join you, Naruto-kun. If possible, I can be yours too. Xiao Xue suddenly hugged Naruto and whispered in his ear. Naruto was stunned, the girl's fragrance surrounded his nose. You know, I don't want to be a daimyo, I just want to be an actor. I like you. I will support you. Xiao Xue said again. Xiao Xue's bold confession made Naruto's body a little stiff. Even though he was a shadow clone now, he couldn't help but feel a warm current. The snow country was so easy to get, and the foundation of the revolution was actually in hand, and to Naruto's surprise, Fanghua Xiaoxua actually fell in love with him. Chapter 85. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In Konoha village, in a small barrier, Naruto sat cross-legged, his brows sometimes relaxed, sometimes cheerful. There was a sense of vagueness around him, but he was like a furnace in the sky, particularly dazzling. Chi and blood plus 5, chi and blood plus 10, natural energy plus 5, transforming, senjutsu chakra plus 6, Naruto felt as if his head was about to explode. Countless inspirations emerged from his mind. What is taijutsu, an extension of martial arts? Naruto still began to practice daily, and his subordinates approached to prevent the sound of his practice from leaking out, because he had gradually figured out the natural energy recently, and his perception was getting clearer and clearer. Research on the post-golden body realm of the indestructible golden body has also been put on the agenda. After a period of exploration, Naruto felt like he had reached a critical point. God rewards hard work like crazy, or he fell into the truth of heaven and earth. All kinds of insights emerged overwhelmingly. What is taijutsu, what is Wu? The indestructible golden body incorporates a lot of Naruto's understanding of martial arts in his previous life. The reason why it is Wu, not taijutsu. Because taijutsu is like a move, and martial arts is more like the culmination of taijutsu. The reason why physical skills are looked down upon is that they are difficult to practice. They rely entirely on polishing the body to improve the strength of the body, and continuous training, using extremely rough means to stimulate the potential of the body. The reason why the 8 gates of Duinja shines is because it develops the treasures of the human body and stimulates the potential of the human body. This is similar to the door of human potential in martial arts in Naruto's previous life novel. The 8 gates of Duinja open 8 gates, corresponding to the Zhoutian Bagua. Every time a gate is opened, the potential of the human body can be released, but this process is rough, so you must have enough endurance to endure it, and because the method of forging the body is rough, the side effects are quite painful to endure. Rough martial arts concept plus 50, rough martial arts concept plus 80, the path of martial arts in Naruto's mind is becoming clearer and clearer. To get started with martial arts, you should first train your skin, then your flesh, then your bones, then your tendons, and finally your internal organs. Finally, draw in natural energy to achieve the strongest body. Naruto's rough indestructible golden body is being constantly overturned and reorganized by Naruto. Inspired by Tai Chi, Naruto has a better understanding of the difference between physical ninjas and ninjutsu ninjas. One side is yin, and the other side is yang. Perhaps physical ninjas should be separated from ninjutsu ninjas. Naruto has more and more insights in his mind. The path of physical skills is being constantly repaired by Naruto. Naruto actually created a system for physical skills practitioners. When Chakra was not born in this world, samurai were once popular, and samurai relied on continuous hard training to enhance their strength. Until the emergence of Chakra, it gradually replaced traditional ninjas, the reason why Chakra replaced the original samurai and became a new practice profession. It is because Chakra is easy to produce, and children of 6 or 7 years old can defeat samurai who have practiced for many years with Chakra. Coupled with the power of ninjutsu, the samurai is even more lonely. The road that Naruto has created now does not need to rely on the power of Chakra at all. It takes the route of chi and blood, and finally combines natural energy. In other words, Naruto has raised the upper limit of physical training. Practice skin, practice flesh, practice bones, practice tendons, and practice organs. Gradually temper the body to a terrible degree. This is a road that leads directly to the level of shadow. This will be the gospel of those with weak ninjutsu talents. This is Naruto's martial arts concept in his previous life, relying on the way of heaven to reward hard work. If it weren't for this epiphany, Naruto might not be able to do it. Of course, Naruto needs to have enough accumulation. Naruto calls it the road of martial arts, not physical skills. If practicing martial arts is a warrior, then the ninja is a magician. The warrior is weak in the early stage, and gradually catches up in the later stage. Even the ninja will be killed by the warrior before he has time to make a seal. Therefore, if the ninja wants to defeat the warrior in the later stage, he needs to simplify his seal. Another kind of power gradually emerged in Naruto's body, and this power is the power of chi and blood. At the same time, as the perception of natural energy deepens, the natural energy absorbed by Naruto gradually transforms into fairy chakra. And special lines appeared in the corners of Naruto's eyes. Naruto unexpectedly entered Sage mode. Natural energy affinity +3, natural energy affinity +4. As the martial arts continued to improve, Naruto slowly opened his eyes like lightning. Naruto's physical strength, which had originally reached the pseudo-golden body realm, has now dropped to the bone training stage, directly skipping the skin training and flesh training, and is in the bone training stage. The strength of this stage is at the Chunin stage, seemingly much weaker than before, but in fact Naruto's physical body has been refined. Even if he is sleeping, it won't be a big deal if he is hit by a Chunin level attack. It's not that it's completely fine, but it's not fatal. If it happens too many times, he will still die. Skin training has a certain degree of defense, but it is still not a match for genin. Only when it reaches the level of flesh training, the body strength increases greatly and can match genin. When it comes to bone training, endurance and strength increase again, reaching the level of Chunin. Endurance is also greatly enhanced. In the muscle training stage, it is already possible to increase strength by multiples through force, which has reached the level of Jonin. Finally, temper the internal organs. The body is round and round. Between hands, the strength is like a mountain. The speed easily breaks the speed of sound. At this point, you need to introduce natural energy and take the same path as the ninja, but at this stage, the warrior strengthens the body and destroys the mountains and seas with his own strength. The ninja strengthens the body and strengthens the ninjutsu. It is more balanced. At this stage, it is already in the super shadow stage. As for the six paths realm later, Naruto does not know. After all, he does not know much. Maybe when he understands the wind, thunder, water, fire, earth, yin and yang, he will know the path of the six paths realm. Uchiha Madara in the original work is at this stage, but it is too difficult to give birth to the power of the six paths, and his lifespan does not allow it, so he directly takes the path of the tailed beast. The 9 tailed beasts merged into the 10 tails, and the 10 tails were transformed from the sacred tree, which is considered the original power of the sacred tree. Obtaining the power of the 10 tails is equivalent to controlling the power of the 6 paths. There is another way, which is to have the help of a 6-path level existence, but it is not so easy. Naruto and Sasuke in the original work were helped by the 6-path sage, and their strength reached a very strong level, so they stepped into the 6 paths at the age of 16 and condensed the Tao-seeking jade. At the same time, they are equivalent to the descendants of the 6-path sage, and it is easier for them to accept power. And if a warrior wants to reach the 6 paths level in the end, Naruto thinks it should be on the natural energy, just like the 3 holy lands. It is not simple for the 3 holy lands to exist for so long. In this world, if you rely on the ninja system and are not related to the Otsutsuki clan, there is basically no possibility of contacting the 6 paths realm. For ordinary ninjas, the Kage level is the limit. With the help of natural energy, it is possible to reach the Super Kage. And the chakra system will even affect lifespan. And in the future facing the Otsutsuki clan, ordinary chakra against the Otsutsuki is simply courting death, which is why Naruto has always insisted on practicing physical skills. Chapter 86. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Huh. I didn't expect to gain so much. Naruto opened his eyes with surprise. This time, he not only reorganized his physical skills, no. The practice of martial arts, the defects of his body were further repaired. He could also freely perceive natural energy. It is very dangerous to rashly absorb natural energy into the human body. So Naruto has been very careful all along. Otherwise, it is very likely to cause chaos in natural energy, and the consequence may be to turn into a human-shaped stone. He almost turned into stone several times, and the fairy chakra synthesized in his body rioted. If it weren't for Naruto's strong mental power in forcibly suppressing the rioting chakra, the consequences would be very serious. It stands to reason that natural energy is a kind of spiritual energy of heaven and earth, and it should not lead to the problem of turning into stone. Naruto can only attribute it to the unique laws of this world. Different worlds have different laws and powers. This may also be the reason why he turned into stone. Although the process is painful, the result is gratifying. After a long period of research, he has now realized the method of martial arts practice, and has also thoroughly studied the intake of natural energy and how to synthesize fairy chakra. What surprised Naruto the most was that he gained natural energy affinity. It is easier to absorb and restore fairy chakra. Naruto. What on earth happened to you? At this time, a slightly shocked voice appeared. Kurabuta. I have learned the sage mode. Naruto smiled and came to the sealed space. At this moment, except for the Ninetales still in the cage, the surrounding environment was the same as outside. The Ninetales looked at Naruto with its huge head, as if it wanted to hear Naruto's explanation. Although the Ninetales always knew what Naruto was doing, Naruto's changes today were really amazing. You know I'm not talking about that. The Ninetales stared at Naruto with its huge eyes. Naruto spread his hands. Okay, since you want to know, I'll show you. Naruto stretched out his hand and clenched his fist. The Ninetales knew what Naruto was doing. This was to be complete, so both parties could share their memories. Of course, unless you are willing, others can't see the memories if they don't want to. You can only see the part that others want to show you. Now it's just Naruto sharing his memories with the Ninetales. The Ninetales' huge fist collided with Naruto's fist, and Naruto also passed on all his ideas, martial arts system, and the concept of sage mode. When the Ninetales opened his eyes, a look of shock appeared on the huge fox face. Naruto. Should I say you are a madman, a genius, or a demon? Kyuubi's tone revealed a bit of excitement and shock. The martial arts system. This will be a huge impact on the ninja system. Although I don't want to admit it, your current feat is comparable to the old man of the six paths. Perhaps, you are really the person the old man said, Kyuubi said with emotion, and his recognition of Naruto in his heart deepened again. He even felt that Naruto was more perverted than the old man of the six paths. You know, how old is Naruto now? He created a martial arts system comparable to that of a ninja. The threshold of the martial arts system is very low, and almost everyone can practice it, but it still depends on the talent, and the demand for resources is also huge. His peak is there. Although at first glance it is not as good as the ninja system, this is only Naruto's first creation, and the potential has yet to be developed. At the same time, Naruto also shaped the indestructible golden body into a more sophisticated martial arts practice method, which is much stronger than simply practicing martial arts, and incorporates the 6 styles. There are also some physical skills, moves, and so on. How can it be so exaggerated, Kurama? There is still a long way to go. Although the martial arts system has great potential, it currently lacks the corresponding martial arts. Compared with the brilliant ninjutsu, martial arts is still in the growth stage. Naruto was not complacent at all, which surprised the Ninetales. The early stages of martial arts are not as good as those of ninjas, and the growth of ninjas in the early stages is extremely fast. Those with outstanding talents are basically elite jonins in their teens, and there are even those who have reached the level of Kage at this age. Shisui, Itachi, and the young Namikaze Minato all reached the level of Kage before the age of 20. Because of the chakra refinement of ninjas, most people's lifespan is not as long as that of ordinary people. This is because chakra is composed of the life energy and spiritual energy of body cells. And ninjas went to the battlefield at a very young age, and naturally their chakra would run out on the battlefield, which led to excessive chakra exploitation, and then the loss of some vitality. After all, if you don't have your life anymore, does a little vitality matter? This also led to the fact that the peak period of ninjas was not long. The peak period of a ninja is roughly between 35 and 45, after which the condition will decline. to be more precise, the peak period of a ninja's life is roughly 40 years old. In the world of pirates, a person's peak period is 60 years old. The gap can be imagined. The period from 6 to 12 years old for a ninja is a period of laying the foundation, and then from 12 to 18 years old is a period of rapid growth. From 18 to 30 years old, the strength of this stage is in a stable period. Basically, the growth that should be achieved has already taken place, and the improvement of strength has fallen into a slow period, but there can still be progress. If you want to grow quickly, you can only use special methods. Kakashi has been decadent for many years, and he has wasted the golden period from 12 to 18 years old. This is also the reason why Kakashi has not entered the shadow level for many years, and it is not surprising. It's all because of the Sharingan. The reason why Zabuza's strength grew to that of a Quasi-Kage is because Naruto's improved version of the chakra refining technique increased his chakra several times, and his physical skills were slightly improved. If he wants to improve again, he can only increase his chakra again, or increase his physical strength, or practice powerful ninjutsu, such as S-level ninjutsu. However, most S-level ninjutsu are secrets that are not passed on, and it is still a bit difficult to become a Kage. The stage between the ages of 30 and 40 is a stable period. Most people in the ninja world have a short lifespan, and few people can live to the age of the third generation. In the ninja world, there is no room for growth at this stage. Most ninjas have consumed part of their vitality because of fighting. In other worlds, this age stage is equivalent to 50 or 60 years old, and the fourth from the age of 15 to 60, it is already in a period of regression. The aging of the body makes it difficult to maintain the peak, and the strength has begun to degenerate. After the age of 60, it is a period of decline. In the original work, the Konoha Collapse Plan, the third generation is in this situation, and his strength declines rapidly. This can be regarded as a drawback of the ninja system. When he was young, the third generation was proficient in the 5-attribute ninjutsu and was called the ninjutsu doctor. With a few A-level combination ninjutsu, he had the level of pseudo-S-level ninjutsu, especially his Great 5 Dragon Bullet technique, which is already an S-level ninjutsu. At his peak, he was comparable to the peak of the Kage level, and it was not a problem for him to defeat Orochimaru, but at that time he was already old, and he was powerless against Orochimaru. The third generation can be regarded as a super genius to achieve this level without any blood limit. Chapter 87. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Naruto's behavior this time has been completely recognized by the Nine Tails. As for Naruto, he not only classified physical skills into the martial arts system, but also had an idea, which was to end the ninja era. He called ninjas sorcerers. People who use skills are called sorcerers. In the future, ninjas are no longer a profession for assassination and accepting tasks. Take out the ninjas and break them down and reorganize them, and you will get sorcerers. Sorcerers can study skills that are more useful to the people, and they can also be divided into combat sorcerers and life sorcerers, or even multi-professional sorcerers. Only with more professionalism can more people's research enthusiasm burst out, and Naruto called the skills used by sorcerers as spells. The levels of sorcerers are divided into apprentice-level sorcerers, primary sorcerers, intermediate sorcerers, senior sorcerers, top sorcerers, master-level sorcerers, grandmaster-level sorcerers, and six-path-level sorcerers. Apprentice-level sorcerers correspond to the level of ninja schools, and the levels after that correspond to the ninja levels. The same is true for the martial arts system. Skin training corresponds to the apprentice level, flesh training corresponds to the elementary level, bone training corresponds to the intermediate and advanced level, tendon training is the top level, and organ training corresponds to the master level. After that, absorbing natural energy to condense the body is the grandmaster level, which is the super shadow level of ninja. The six-path level is tentative because Naruto has no idea. Similarly, the martial arts apprentice level corresponds to the apprentice level warrior, and flesh training corresponds to the elementary warrior. At this stage, not only the body needs to be trained, but also the blood needs to be condensed. Genin generally uses chakra to strengthen the body and train the body, so it is necessary to condense blood to compete with Genin who has learned ninjutsu. Bone training corresponds to the intermediate and advanced levels. At this stage, the 206 bones of the whole body are tempered. Therefore, the leap in strength is very large. In the early stage, those with less bone tempering can only be comparable to Chunin. When the whole body bones are tempered, the strength is condensed into one, enough to burst out the power that makes Jonin fear. At this stage, the strength is already terrifying. When it comes to the tendon training stage, the human body can withstand greater power, and the power that bursts out is like Tsunade using strange power, and the sustained ability is much stronger, and the physical strength is far beyond that of ordinary ninjas. Even ninjutsu can be blasted with one punch, and the strength is comparable to that of elite Jonin. At the level of training the internal organs, the 5 internal organs are tempered, and the body is no longer vulnerable. The body resists ninjutsu, and with one punch and one kick, it is like the thunder shadow bursting the lightning chakra mode, comparable to the shadow level strongman. If a warrior before the training period is placed in a sea of fire, there will be no problem in the short term, but the internal organs may be burned by the high temperature entering the internal organs through the nostrils. After the energy is introduced to this stage, it is the Grandmaster stage, and energy attacks can be burst out with the help of natural energy. The physical body is even more incomparable. It's like a work of art. Ice skin and jade bones, blood like lead and mercury. The power can already break mountains and seas, and can fly with the help of natural energy. According to Naruto's discovery, people who practice martial arts have a longer lifespan than those who practice chakra. Chakra is synthesized through cell life energy, which will lead to loss of vitality. Practicing martial arts is to strengthen cell life energy, condense chi and blood, and achieve a leap in the level of life. The chakra system may only achieve immortality when it reaches the 6 paths. And according to the performance of different 6 paths level characters in the original work, the 6 paths level should also be divided into levels. Kagaya Otsutsuki is obviously more powerful. After swallowing the fruit of the sacred tree that almost absorbed all the natural energy of the ninja world, Kagaya's strength can be imagined, but her combat awareness is too poor, and it is almost immortal. The Otsutsuki clan should be constantly looking for life planets in the universe, planting chakra fruits to gain power, and the Otsutsuki clan must be an immortal race. Logically speaking, the 6 paths sage is also a 6 paths level existence, and should not die so soon. Although he did not eat the fruit of the sacred tree, as the 10 tails Jinchuriki, the lifespan of the 6 paths should obviously not be so short. Naruto guessed that after the 6 paths sage defeated Kagaya, in order to decompose the 10 tails, he also returned part of the chakra to the ninja world. The natural energy is equivalent to the life energy of a planet. After being absorbed, there will naturally be constant natural disasters, and even destruction. This reminds Naruto of the spirit tree fruit in his previous life, which seems to have the same effect. The principle should be the same, but without that violence, and there is still a little room. This may also be the reason why the 6 paths sage died, most likely to save the ninja world, and the reason why his soul still exists in the Pure Land may be to prevent the arrival of the Otsutsuki clan. The reincarnations of Indra and Ashura are also very similar to the arrangements of the 6 paths sage. It is to make plans for the future arrival of the Otsutsuki clan. Todemaru, who used to be with the 6 paths sage, is still alive. There is no reason why the 6 paths sage can't even survive a toad, and even the tailed beasts can live for many years. As the 10 tails Jinchuriki, the 6 paths sage may have done something to cause a great reduction in vitality. It is not surprising that the 6 paths sage resurrects Naruto in the future. It is not surprising that such a person has several backups. Even Uchiha Madara prepared several backups to prepare for his own resurrection. If the 6 paths sage is not as good as Uchiha Madara, that would be a strange thing. If it were the original Naruto, he would definitely not have thought so far ahead. After all these years of training, if Naruto had an attribute panel, he would probably be able to see that his brain development is much stronger now than at the beginning, and the conversion is the strength of mental power. It can be said that what Naruto is doing now is not only to change the ninja world, but also for his own life, and to deal with future enemies at the same time. Naruto never underestimates these people, especially those old antiques. One is more insidious than the other. The sixth old man in the ninja world. Gochuan's life in the troubled times, the goal is to be invincible in the ninja world. This is what Naruto wants to do. Naruto is not going to follow the original path now. In the original work, Naruto learned the 6 paths immortal art and automatically obtained 9 seeking truth jades. Judging from the performance in the original work, Naruto did not condense the seeking truth jade by himself. These seeking truth jades condensed by Naruto are likely to be condensed by obtaining the power of the 6 paths of Yang. Use one less. This is also the reason why Naruto never appeared in the seeking truth jade in Boruto. There are 4 ways to obtain the seeking truth jade in the original work. One is to use yin-yang escape technique as a form, and add high purity chakra of yin-yang and 5 elements to condense the way-seeking jade. This is also the method of the 6 paths sage. Another is to rely on the bloodline net to condense the way-seeking jade like Kagaya. Kagaya's way-seeking jade is more powerful than the general way-seeking jade, and it expands the way-seeking jade. In addition to these 2, there is the green way-seeking jade condensed by Otsutsuki Tonari on the moon with the Samsara eye. The last one is to become the Ten-Tails Jinchuriki like Uchiha Madara and others, and obtain the way-seeking jade. Now, Naruto knows nothing about yin-yang release, and Kekiai net is too difficult. Kagaya's Kekiai net may be due to the fruit of the sacred tree. The Samsara eye is not something that ordinary people can have. As for the Ten-Tails, there are many people eyeing him, which is also a relatively simple way, but Naruto does not intend to use this method. After all, if he loses the Ten-Tails, he is likely to fall out of the level of the 6 paths. With the ability of God's way of rewarding hard work, Naruto has a much easier time learning yin-yang release and Kekiai net than normal people. What's more, he can take the path of martial arts, which is also a feasible path. I just don't know if he needs to condense the way-seeking jade. Chapter 88. You are listening at novelfull.audio. At this moment, in the land of snow, Shisui has already moved the base to the land of snow, and at the same time recruited the group of scientists under Fonghan Nuteo. The technological level of the land of snow is still good, and it has developed the level of electricity. Under Naruto's instructions, the land of snow began a crazy technological revolution. It began to copy the technological development of the previous life. It has to be said that the technological development of this world is very confusing. Electricity has appeared, but cars have not appeared, there are no airplanes either. The technology of this world has gone astray, so Naruto naturally wants to turn it around. Good technology means a good life, and he also wants to pursue a high-end life instead of cooking by himself. If he didn't work hard, he might still be drinking expired milk in Konoha. That is to say, Naruto in the original work has a strong physique and a 9-tailed fox in his body. Otherwise, with Naruto's food, I don't know how many times he would have died. Shisui moved to the land of snow. Although it is small, it is relatively safe and hidden. On the other hand, Uchiha went to the land of tea to establish a base. The land of tea, it is the world's largest grain exporter, and Naruto is not going to let it go. They also founded the 7-colored grain company there, and occupied a part of the market through the high-yield grains and special means of inducing birth that they researched. This certainly touched the interests of some nobles, but the 7-colored Chamber of Commerce was backed by the hidden mist village in the land of water, and any dissatisfaction was suppressed. They had no choice but to let the 7-colored grain company gain a foothold. While this country has no ninjas, the land area and various resources are still good, so Uchiha came here to establish an organization. At the same time, the large population here is also a good place to absorb members. Konoha Village. Ningxi and Shaoli should have graduated, right? Why don't we go see them? Sasuke crossed his arms and said coldly. Although he seemed calm, Naruto knew that Sasuke always yearned for the profession of ninja. After all, Sasuke once yearned to become a powerful ninja and revitalize the Uchiha family. That's fine, let's celebrate their short ninja career, let's go. Naruto dusted off his butt and prepared to go find Neji and Lee to celebrate. During this period, they also had a little vacation, and by next year, they should graduate, but they didn't know if their teacher would still be Kakashi. The two soon arrived at Lee's house and knocked on the door gently, but found that no one was at home. No one. He might be going to practice. He just graduated and didn't take 2 days off. Naruto waved his hand helplessly, and then the two came to a training ground, which was close to Xiao Li's home, so it should be here. Although they practiced together most of the time, for convenience, they would sometimes practice alone. Xiao Li would sometimes practice with Might Guy. As for Sasuke, he was always practicing with Naruto. 3369, 3370. As expected, they soon heard a voice coming from the training ground. Looking around, Xiao Li was doing one-handed handstand push-ups. If nothing unexpected happened, Xiao Li might still have weights on his body. Xiao Li, Naruto's voice came, which made Xiao Li look a little surprised. His body was already full of sweat. At this moment, he also stopped and looked at Naruto in surprise. Naruto, Sasuke, why are you here? Xiao Li wiped his sweat and greeted the two happily. What, you can't come if you have nothing to do, Naruto said with a smile. No, no. You are welcome anytime. By the way, are you here to practice with me? Xiao Li touched his head and smiled. Naruto glanced at him and said, you can practice anytime. You may have forgotten that you graduated yesterday. In order to celebrate your graduation, I decided to treat you to a big meal. Let's go. Let's go find Neji. Xiao Li also nodded happily. It was a happy thing to graduate from the ninja school. After all, they couldn't learn anything in school. The three of them came to Neji's house. It must be said that Hyuga's place is really big. Neji didn't practice anymore, but was looking at the martial arts system sorted out by Naruto. In order to prevent leakage, Naruto also specially engraved the sealing technique on this scroll, which only a few people can see. They have also begun to specialize in the martial arts system, especially Xiao Li. Because the martial arts system is difficult to practice at the same time as chakra, because the martial arts system emphasizes the nourishment of cells, and chakra obtains energy from cells. Therefore, if chakra is refined after practicing martial arts, it will lead to slow progress in martial arts. Only after the cells are nourished again can the normal practice speed be restored, but this does not mean that martial arts and chakra systems cannot coexist. If you practice both, you can only practice chakra when practicing chakra, and martial arts will stagnate. After practicing martial arts, in order to nourish cells, the refining of chakra is temporarily suspended, because this is equivalent to slowing down the speed of getting stronger by 2 times. However, after the physical body has made great progress, if you extract chakra again, as long as it is not over-refined, the chakra will be several times the original, because the cells have become stronger. Over-refining may cause the physical strength to deteriorate and the spirit to be depleted. Naruto does not have this problem. Naruto's chakra amount has long been enough, and if it is not enough, he can borrow it from the Nine Tails. Therefore, concentrate on practicing martial arts. Although the speed of practice has slowed down, the potential and strength in the future will become stronger. As for Sasuke, Naruto suggested that Sasuke should wait until he becomes a Kage before practicing the martial arts system, otherwise it will only slow down Sasuke's speed of getting stronger. Ninsi practiced the same as Naruto. After all, the Hyuga family relies on physical skills. Rock Lee has completely transformed. Now Rock Lee has even given up refining chakra and is wholeheartedly practicing martial arts. After changing his training, all of Rock Lee's previous accumulation has turned into a foundation. Although his strength has declined a little, his foundation has become much deeper. Ningxi was a little surprised. Why are you all here? Let's go out and get together. It's worth a day, Naruto said. In the private room of the Seven Colors restaurant, a pot of hot pot was served in front of the group. Your instructor is Might Guy, right? Naruto said affirmatively. Ningxi nodded. Yes, just a little like Rock Lee. Ningxi thought for a while and said, to be honest, when he first met Might Guy, he thought he was Rock Lee's father, because the two looked so much alike. Ha ha ha. Naruto and Sasuke looked at each other and laughed loudly, which made Xiao Li a little confused. Neji just laughed softly. In their minds, Xiao Li and Might Guy stood together. They had the same style, the same hairstyle, thick eyebrows, and practiced the same physical skills. People who didn't know would definitely think that they were father and son. After laughing, the conversation between the few people returned to the normal track again. "How do you feel these days?" Naruto asked Neji softly. "It's okay. My teammate is a little girl, but she's a little weak." "You mean Ten?" Ningxi looked at Naruto strangely. "Why, you know him too?" "I guess we know each other. She is the founder of Chien Dun," Naruto said with emotion. "What the hell? Money escape?" Neji and Sasuke were a little confused. What kind of escape technique is money escape? "You will know when you see her take action." Naruto laughed and quickly started eating the 7 colors hot pot. Chapter 89. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Finally, Naruto did not explain to them what the money escape technique was, always saying that they would know it later. Then they started drinking, and this drinking caused trouble. Who knew that Shaoli had such a bad drinking habit? He got drunk as soon as he drank, and even acted crazy. This reminded Naruto that he seemed to have seen Shaoli drunk when he watched Naruto in his previous life. The table was overturned by Shaoli, and the three had no choice but to throw Shaoli out of the window. In the end, they paid a sum of money and took Shaoli away. A few months passed, and Tsunade felt like crying but had no tears. She had wanted to lurk and see who the leader behind the umbrella organization was. However, this umbrella organization was really inhumane. If she wanted to see the top leaders, she had to improve her rank. After the higher-ups assigned Tsunade a job at the medical school, they told her about the contributions she needed to make in order to improve her rank. Then Tsunade began her part-time job. The medical school was guided by Naruto and established by Shisui. The system was inspired by her previous life, which made Tsunade deeply addicted. This must be a system proposed by a medical expert. That when Tsunade first saw the system of this medical school, she was amazed. She asked to meet the proposer of this system, but how could Shisui meet Tsunade at this stage? Only by making Tsunade completely his own, Shisui might be able to show up in front of Tsunade. So the answer Tsunade got was that her level was not enough and her request was rejected. This made Tsunade crazy and she had to quickly improve her umbrella level. In the ninja world, there is probably no one with better medical technology than Tsunade. Soon, Tsunade stood out with her ability and was promoted to the dean. The reason why it was so fast was that Tsunade contributed a lot of rare things. The reason why the medical school is called a medical school instead of a hospital is because the medical school combines hospitals and colleges into one. As the name suggests, it is a college that studies medical skills. There are ninjas with chakras and ordinary people in it. Compared with ninjas, there are more ordinary people, and some theories also make Tsunade feel refreshed. After researching new technologies and contributing them to the organization, you can get points from the organization, so Tsunade can sit in the medical school within a few months, most of the time, because there is no fighting. Because of this, almost most of the time is spent in the RD stage and training talents. Tsunade hasn't stopped to study medical technology for a long time. In the dean's office, the large and small files on the table gave Tsunade a headache. Open a file at random, and it says, about how the human body can exercise efficiently and effectively. Open another file, and it says, cell strengthening topic. This is quite straightforward. Open it again, how to use medical means to strengthen the body. After reading a few files, Tsunade couldn't help but have a headache. In the past month, the topics on them have become more and more strange. Why? They are all topics related to strengthening the body. He thought that the organization might want to train physical ninjas, but this is not worth the effort. Training one physical ninja is enough to train 3 ninjas of the same level. Tsunade frowned and subconsciously reached to the side, but grabbed nothing. Slightly stunned, Tsunade remembered that she seemed to have not drunk or gambled for several months. She was a little irritable today, so she wanted to drink some wine. Thinking of the aroma of the wine, Tsunade couldn't help licking her sexy lips, and the huge chariot in front of her shook. Tsunade shouted to the outside of the door, Shizun. Click. Click. The sound of hurried shoes stepping on the floor sounded, and Shizun hurriedly pushed open the door. thinking that Tsunade had something to do. Lady Tsunade. What happened? Shizun was wearing a white coat at the moment. Although Shizun was not as good as Tsunade, she was also at the director level. Go. Buy me some wine. Tsunade waved her hand and said. Shizun looked at Tsunade's embarrassment, and secretly felt happy. Although she was a little tired during this period, she was still very happy to see Tsunade like this. Tsunade used to drink and gamble all day long. Shizun knew that Tsunade wanted to numb herself in this way. Lady Tsunade, the organization has clearly stipulated that drinking alcohol is not allowed during work, as it may cause surgical errors. Points will be deducted, Shizun explained, and then added in a low voice. Ha! This made Tsunade laugh. Shizun, are you on my side or the umbrella side? It feels like this little girl has completely fallen. Okay, I won't drink for now. Tsunade rolled her eyes at Shizun. Bang! 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 There was a gentle knock on the door. The two looked towards the door and saw a beautiful girl in a nurse's uniform holding a document. Her black hair was wrapped in a nurse's cap. Her smile was very gentle, making people feel as warm as the sun. Seeing the person coming, Tsunade's face instantly broke into a smile. Shiro, you're here. Shizun curled her lips. Lady Tsunade must have a new apprentice and forgotten the old one. Master Dean, here is a document for you to take a look at. It's specially for you. Bai smiled gently, with a smile on the corner of her mouth. Since the last time, Bai was sent here to learn from Tsunade. Bai's talent in medical ninjutsu is even stronger than her talent in ninja. Perhaps what suits her best is not killing, but saving the world. And to Tsunade's surprise, Bai actually has the Ice Shield bloodline limit, and her own strength has reached the level of Jonin. This also made Tsunade a little surprised about Umbrella. The family with the Ice Shield bloodline limit is only in the Hidden Mist village, and it seems to be the Mizunatsu clan. Unexpectedly, they also took in a ninja with a bloodline limit, and sent him to study medicine here. According to Bai's answer, it was because she didn't like killing, so the organization sent her here to learn medical ninjutsu. This made Tsunade have a little more favor for Umbrella. After all, a ninja with a bloodline limit will at least be a Jonin when he grows up, and with Bai's talent, it is possible to grow to the level of Kage. The Umbrella organization obeys Bai's wishes. You know, in the ninja village, a bloodline limit ninja is very precious. You have to contribute to the village. Most of the bloodline limit ninjas are helpless. Tsunade took the document handed over by Bai. She thought it was another topic, but the content made Tsunade's pupils suddenly dilate. It clearly recorded the martial arts training methods, the skin training chapter, the flesh training chapter and the bone training chapter. It only went up to here, and the rest was not released. However, the concepts of these records alone have greatly shocked Tsunade. Tsunade also knows some physical skills, and her strange power is physical skills. And the martial arts introduced above surprisingly took out physical skills to form a separate system. Condensing the power of chi and blood. Skin training lays the foundation, while flesh training begins to condense chi and blood, which is similar to chakra. Almost all of them are polishing the flesh, which is similar to physical ninjas, but Tsunade was shocked from the stage of condensing chi and blood and training bones. This is a road that is no less than that of ninjas. This also made Tsunade understand why the topic of the past month is related to the flesh. And in Tsunade's eyes, there should be more in the future. This is a road that can rival ninjas. Chapter 90. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Shizun, take a look too. Tsunade casually handed the precious information to Shizun. Shizun saw Tsunade's expression and knew that this was a very valuable document. Slowly skimming through the contents above, Shizun's calm expression gradually became serious. Although she did not have Tsunade's knowledge and vision, she also knew that this was a groundbreaking document that could open up another system to compete with ninjas. Lady Tsunade. This is simply a madman's conjecture, Shizun said in shock. Tsunade shook her head and said, he is a madman, but it is not a conjecture, but a systematic path. Why can't he be a genius? Shizun shook her head slightly. That is also a crazy genius. Tsunade smiled and did not refute Shizen's words. In fact, she also thought that creating such a career is indeed something that only a crazy and genius person can do. You were sent by the top management of Umbrella, so you should know the subsequent training methods, right? Tsunade seemed to be asking, but in fact she had already confirmed it. Bai also heard it from Tsunade's tone. A smile appeared on Bai's lips. As expected of teacher Tsunade, there is indeed a follow-up part, but it requires umbrella level and points to redeem, and not only that, there are also techniques that can be redeemed with points. Jutsu, seeing Tsunade's puzzled look, Bai explained, Jutsu is the name used within our organization, that is, ninjutsu. Bai actually likes the name of sorcerer, because sorcerer is not as dark as ninja. I see. Why didn't I know this before? Tsunade asked curiously, feeling a little angry. Doesn't teacher Tsunade know the reason? Bai said jokingly, and Tsunade's rising anger disappeared completely, and an embarrassed look appeared on her face. That's right, in the past few months, Tsunade's identity has been exposed, and Tsunade is too lazy to hide it. Surprisingly, no one expelled her after her identity was exposed, and even let her become the dean. However, because of this, she did not meet the real top leaders of the organization. She also asked, but the answer she got was, the organization does not prohibit the recruitment of ninjas from other villages, and it is even welcomed. Aren't you afraid of spies? This is Tsunade's question. Our organization has special screening methods. This is the reply Tsunade heard. It makes people feel mysterious. In fact, it is exactly like this. Few people can withstand the torture of the Sharingan. Even if they have passed the ordinary 3 Magatama, they still have to go through the torture of the Mangekyo when facing suspicious people. Tell me first how to exchange for the subsequent training methods of this martial arts system. Tsunade quickly chose to answer the previous question. Seeing the two people's curious expressions, Bai did not keep them in suspense and took out something similar to the tablet in Naruto's previous life. Tsunade and the others quickly came over. What is this? This is a smart tablet developed by the organization. On it you can see the exchangeable techniques and martial arts training system. After turning it on, a light came on, showing an umbrella-shaped pattern. The ninja world already has computers and televisions, and has a certain degree of foundation. Therefore, under the leadership of Naruto, tablets were quickly developed. Naruto even wanted to research mobile phones, but they are still under development. The energy used is chakra. Naruto also built a chakra signal receiving device. The money spent on building the device alone is hundreds of millions of taels, which is almost equivalent to a dozen asumas. Because chakra metal is used to build a chakra signal receiving device. Only chakra metal can receive chakra very well. Tsunade and the others were very curious about this small device, which felt like a small TV. The functions on the screen seemed quite simple, and there was not even a call function, but messages could be sent and received. The receiving device has been converted, and the video function has not been developed. After all, time is limited. The video cannot be developed for the time being, but Bai heard that the call function will be available soon. In fact, it has been developed now, but the cost is still very high, and it is not very suitable for use. Now we are studying to simplify the cost. This is thanks to the Chakra Dialogue Room ninjutsu invented by Naruto. With the foundation and the industrial level barely enough, the finished product naturally came out. Moreover, the people in the ninja world are relatively smart, but there may be a few more patients with mental illness. Bai personally demonstrated how to use the tablet, which is really very convenient. Tsunade also saw the follow-up of the martial arts system that she had been thinking about, which are also on it, but only the name, and there are many ninjutsu, or it can be called a technique. After all, when in Rome, do as the Romans do, and Tsunade is not lacking in it. Well, the types are quite complete, but Konoha already has many of them. Tsunade didn't expect that the umbrella organization would have so many ninjutsu backgrounds, and she also saw many ninjutsu that Konoha also had. Tsunade may not know that most of the ninjutsu were moved by Naruto from the root base. If Tsunade knew, I don't know what to say. Although Tsunade was shocked by the hugeness of these ninjutsu, because some of these ninjutsu were actually obtained from the rebel ninjas of other ninja villages. If they hand over the ninjutsu they know, they can get points to exchange for another ninjutsu to enhance their strength. Why not do it? Tsunade stretched out her hand and clicked on the purchase of the martial arts muscle training method, but a prompt popped up, please bind your identity information. What is this? Tsunade asked curiously, feeling mixed emotions for a moment, as if she was out of date. You need to confirm your identity to buy this. You only need to confirm your chakra here, and you can bind your identity, Bai explained softly, confirming the chakra is just like confirming fingerprints in the previous life. It records her unique chakra, which can be retrieved. Naruto did this to prepare for future rule, Tsunade frowned, and then confirmed the chakra. Although exposing the chakra fluctuations will be detected, when does she need to hide her head and show her tail? She is not an umbu. Even in a battle, it is easy to confirm her identity, and the identity is bound immediately. Binding. Name, Tsunade, level, yellow, points, 70,962. Welcome. Several messages popped up above, and Tsunade couldn't wait to check the points for the martial arts system. Unexpectedly, the points for the martial arts system were pitifully low. The entry-level martial arts training skin was free, 100 points for meat training, 100 points for bone training, 5,000 for tendon training, and 10,000 for organ training. It's not that the points required are very high, but too low. Tsunade has read the introduction, and the level of organ training is comparable to that of Kage. Shouldn't such a level be inherited with S-level ninjutsu? The points for the exchange of ninjutsu are relatively high, but not ridiculously high. At least it is much easier than for the ninjas in the village to obtain ninjutsu.